More information.
By the AM First Radio Network and distributed by Global American Broadcasting, the Gab Radio Network.
Welcome to, thank you for tuning in for this edition of Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali. I am attorney Zulu Ali with the Justice Watch crew, Rosa Nunez, Michael Bilal Clark, Dr. Akil Bashir, and Andrea Rodeman. This week, like every week, we'll be discussing critical legal and social justice issues that are impacting our community. This week, we'll be talking about the, the slap heard around the world. We're talking about the issue with Will Smith and Chris Rock. So, I mean, you know, I didn't know when I saw this last week if we were going to have to go here, but I think that in light of the different ways that everybody's gone with the subject, then I think that I feel like, I mean, I'm going to we should chime in on it and talk a little bit about what's up. So, I'm going to start out with, and I'm going to give different takes on it, right? I'm going to be devil's advocate in all aspects. I'm going to give you every little piece of it. So I'm going to begin with talking about the appropriateness of the statement. And very little has actually been said about, whether it was appropriate, should he have said it, should not have said it, those sort of things. So, one of the things that, I want to talk about is, making statements like that in that particular forum. And now, I mean, imagine if he had said something about the LGBTQ community and someone from that community. What if he had seen someone who happens to be part of that community and says, hey, it says, we're going to do, looked at the guy and says, Brokeback Mountain 2, right? What do you think would have said? Or if it would have been someone from the Jewish community and he would have said something about Schindler's List 2 or Hitler 2,
correct,
right? Or what if he had said something about Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein, something that basically we would found to have been distasteful. I mean, what would have been the reaction, if he would have made the statement that way? So he basically, when you look at what he said, and he talks about the fact that, which we know that the whole idea about the G.I. Jane 2 and the fact that she lost her hair and the fact that, she was dealing with some issues, some medical issues that was causing her to lose her hair, then, would it been appropriate? And then everyone says, well, he didn't know, that the situation. But I think that no matter what the situation is, not knowing or making stupid mistakes, we live in a time and period where you can't say anything about anybody. Everything you say about everything is very, very sensitive.
Yeah.
But you can't pick and either we're all in or we're all out.
Correct.
If we're gonna be in this situation where, you're gonna use comedians at the Oscars to roast people, then let's change the way. I mean, because we're saying, well, this was a great opportunity for African Americans. We had people who were being awarded these Grammys for these great achievements. We had a black man that was a producer. We had, at that particular time, Questlove was going to win an award for on a documentary. It was a great night for black people. But yes, okay, this is the Oscars. It's not the Hoodie Awards. So if it's the Oscars, not the Hoodie Awards, then stop using comedians to give out these awards. Correct. Why couldn't we got Lawrence Fishburne to do it? Why couldn't we have gotten somebody that was a esteemed member of the Academy to do it? And to be quite honest with you, I really didn't even like before he did the joke, he made fun of Denzel. I really didn't like that because he's an icon in our community. He's a great actor, period, black, white, or otherwise. And I don't really believe that the Oscars is a place this is not the Laugh Factory.
Correct.
I love comedians. I go to comedy shows all the time. I like comedy. I love comedy. But some places it's just not the right place for comedians. And if I'm sitting on the front row getting ready to win an award, I mean, a lot of people feel uneasy when you have comedians roasting people, but you just laugh because you have to laugh because you feel like it's the thing to do. And so from my perspective, there's James Earl Jones, there's very and who did I say earlier? The other actor that we were talking about, Lawrence Fishburne, and what's the other brother that has the voice? I can't think of it now.
State Farm commercials?
Him, but no, I'm not really thinking about him. I'm actually thinking about the actor, the one that played in Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, Morgan Freeman.
All these great esteemed actors it's a serious moment. It was a serious award. So have serious people to give out the award. That's the way I see it. If we're going to go in there, so if you're going to go in and you're going to do hoodie, then we're going to get hoodie. So if you're going to go out there and you're going to start roasting people, then that's fine. It's not, if you're, jesters, use them for jester situations. Serious people, use them for serious situations. So from one perspective, I think that, why is it that everything does not have to be comedy if it's serious? All the great people that could have been given an award, why do we always get comedians to host these shows anyway? I mean, I love Jamie Foxx. Do you think Jamie Foxx would have said that?
No.
You see what I'm saying? So, the point is that basically, if we're going to, and this is another thing, is someone says, well, it wasn't that distasteful. It wasn't really that bad, what he said, but it might not have been bad to you. What if it really bothered her? You know what I'm saying? What if it was really something that, and then they go back to the whole issue about, she's already saying everything about around the red table. She's talking about the entanglement and all this other stuff. They called her a B. They used the H word. They called her all kinds of things. Well, Chris Rock admitted to cheating on his wife, right? Do we call him a B? Do we call him an H? Will Smith admitted to cheating on his wife. Is he a B or is he a H? So why is Jada a H or a B? Right? So, so that's another thing, is that we have this double standard. Well, they don't have an H or a B giving out the award. Find somebody else that's not an H or a B to give out the award. Why don't we try doing that? So I think on one hand, and again, devil's advocate. That's how I'm starting it out. I'm saying, if you want to do, I'm sick and tired of hearing everybody about how dignified and how we should look as black people, and we're on the stage and we should look, like the angry black man and this stuff. Okay, that's fine. Okay, well then when we start giving out awards, stop putting gestures to give the award out. Why can't we use someone who is dignified and esteemed like Morgan Freeman or someone else that's serious about the craft of acting, and choose someone like that, and stop every time we have an entertainer that's on the stage that's going to give out an award, it has to be a comedian. It's like that's the only people that we have in our communities that can do something like that are our gestures, right? So, so that's how I feel about that aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, before I go into my next aspect, 'cause I don't want to spill out too much too quick. Does anybody want to have anything to say about that?
Well, I think you're absolutely right when it comes to individuals, as far as like hosting, the show, as far as being, comedians, even when you were speaking about the certain things that he could have said and whether or not it would have had different results. If you look back when Kevin Hart made those jokes years ago and people wanted to come out and make him apologize.
Oh, yeah, when he said something about the LGBTQ community.
Exactly.
And before he basically was going to host another award show again, they wanted him to come out and apologize for something he had done years ago.
Exactly.
Right.
And then, I think, like you say, there's a double standard to that. But, even when you go back to 2009 when Kanye West climbed the stage, you remember
Right.
when he did that with Taylor Swift,
Mhm.
they even came out at that particular time and said all the awards that would be televised at that particular time would not be live. They would have a delay in them in order to correct it before anything can be actually televised, such as this nature. Why wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another
right.
question. So I'm just throwing it out
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting. What about you, Rosa and Andrea? How do you feel about, whether it's a cruel joke or whatever? How do you feel about that aspect of it?
Well, for me, I see it two ways because my brother.
Don't
is,
get it the other way now. I don't want the other
Okay,
way first.
okay.
You get too much
I'm gonna go
into
this way. My brother is a professional comedian. That's what he does for a living and has done it for many, many years. And that is what they do. I personally, though, feel that some things need to be off limits. I think that Chris Rock made those comments. I believe in innocence. I don't think that he knew about her alopecia or whatnot. But in that same respect, I think Jada's always changing up her style, and she's very stylish. I think maybe he may have thought that she did it for fun or just to just make a fashion.
Idea for a radio show but have no idea where to start? Or have you been hosting a podcast for a while and want to take it to the next level? If so, you need the Gab Radio Network. To host a show on the Gab Radio Network, all you need is your voice, and we'll handle the rest. From technical engineering to full-service audio production and much more. Every show on the Gab Radio Network can be heard on our station on the TuneIn Radio app. Plus, we put all of our shows on our satellite, which is accessed by over 5,500 stations. And here's the best part. You can host from anywhere you want. There are many means to connect to the Gab Radio Network remotely, and our staff of highly trained engineers and producers will make you sound like you're right here in studio. So, if you want to be on the Gab Radio Network, the same network that hosts the Small Business Advocate, Radio MD, and The Federalist, send an email right now to sales@gabradionetwork.com. That's sales@gabradionetwork.com.
Nubian Pictures presents a CCM Films production documentary entitled Purpose and Freedom. Keep your hand on the plow. This emotional and strong documentary tells the story of African-American lawyer Zulu Ali seeking justice and his purpose as a lawyer, while crossing paths with Araceli, an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who is seeking her freedom. Together, they help discover their purpose and freedom in each other. Watch this incredible film today from iTunes Movies, YouTube Movies, Amazon Prime, and Google Play Movies. Learn about the cast and crew, links to purchase, and more at purposeandfreedommovie.com. Purpose and Freedom. Keep your hand on the plow. Available now. Rated G.
I did not feel safe. That's why I decided to come to California, because I didn't feel safe in Mexico.
It's kind of like the system, and if you go outside the system, then it becomes a struggle.
Are you an immigrant seeking defense representation and are looking to protect your rights? Or maybe someone who is experiencing an injustice or discrimination and need a lawyer you can trust? Well, that's exactly why you need the help of award-winning trial lawyer Zulu Ali. The law offices of Zulu Ali provides immigration defense representation for those seeking justice and looking to protect their rights. If you or a loved one needs professional legal advice and representation, then contact Zulu Ali. Zulu Ali's firm focuses on criminal law, family law, civil and personal injury, and international law. Zulu Ali is a former police officer and U.S. Marine, so you know you're in good hands. Serving all of California and immigration cases nationwide, representing victims and suspects at the International Criminal Court at The Hague. Call Zulu Ali today at 888-682-3049 or visit ZuluAliLaw.com.
Welcome back to Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali and the Justice Watch crew, and our discussion on the Will Smith, Chris Rock controversy at the Oscars last week. So I'm going to go to you real quick, Andrea. Now, what was the point you were making?
You know what? I just got a controversial text. I'm going to save my comment. I want to hear what Rosa has to say.
No. That's probably your cousin telling him to keep his name out your mouth. Out his
That
mouth.
was my brother. That was my brother.
Your brother telling you
Justin
keep your
Leon.
name out your mouth. That's what he told you. Go ahead, Rosa.
He did. Go ahead, Rosa.
Yeah, so as far as what's happening,
I can't hear you good,
Can't
Rosa.
hear you, Rosa. We can't hear you, Rosa.
Rosa, I can't hear you well. Is it okay? Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I said, I think the joke was distasteful, definitely. But this is a venue where usually celebrities go to basically get roasted. And worse things have been said about other celebrities to take away from the fact that this is a gathering where multimillionaires come to gather to boost business, right? And that's my part on that. I'm going to say that's my part on that.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna get that far. Yeah, I mean, so now I guess we're gonna switch gears and go back to the thing. I mean, okay, so now we're talking about it. I think just so that I can recap what I said in the first segment about the fact that I feel some sort of way where that you don't. I think we need to change the dynamics because we do live in a very sensitive society. And again, if we're going to go in, let's go all in or let's stay out of it. Because I feel like that, again, LGBTQ jokes are off limits. Anti-Semitic jokes are off limit. You know, all these, if you were to say something that was offended someone who might have been sexually assaulted, like under the Harvey Weinstein or Bill Cosby joke that would have been seen distasteful, let's stay away from it. If we're going to be sensitive, let's just be sensitive. I think that it's disingenuous for us to, and I understand what you're saying, Rosa, and you're completely right. I think that, and also Joe brought up the fact that usually they get comedians to do these things because they get better ratings with comedians because it's more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you can be a comedian without roasting people.
Yeah.
You know, there are comedians who stand up and they would make jokes about themselves or jokes about something else. I just do not think that, you know, some of our legends and some of our icons, if, you know, like I just don't agree with it. I think that either you're going to be all, and then it's like, hey, if I get up there, I'd have to parse my word. Who can I make a joke about? And it seemed like you can read it different ways because we live in such a sensitive society. You know, even when you're saying that the white couple before they went to Jada and Will, that was a very soft blow.
Yeah.
So then you're going to go to Jada and Will and give them a hard blow? It's like, why didn't you go in on her like that? You see what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the reason why you want to stay away from it, because you don't want this to be a night where people are being offended and everybody gets offended over any little thing today. And you know, so it's just like if you said a gay joke and you say, I didn't know he was gay. Do you think that's going to get you off the hook? No. So stay away. I think you should stay away from roasting people at the Oscars. If you went to the Last Factory, if it was a roast of Jada or Will, it would be a different. But I just don't think that he should have went in on him, you know, on her like that. And then they marked that he was laughing originally. So they said he's laughing. He looked over at Jada. It looked like Jada was, you know. Then she started rolling her eyes, and she was not amused by it. Then maybe he could have felt a certain way about it as a result of the way that she felt about it. Now, do we dehumanize Jada because a lot of people don't like Jada because they feel like that she's been putting Will on blast and the way that she's been treating him, and we decided, well, that's another story. But at the same time, does Will love Jada?
Yeah.
Right? Does he still love his wife? If he still loves his wife, then, you know, who are you to say how we supposed to act around his wife?
Exactly.
Right? If he said, I love my wife, I feel like you're hurting my wife, and he wanted to do something about it, I don't believe that's a defense to it. I don't believe that is the right way to do it. The fact that Jada's past should not be something, or the way you felt like she made Will feel about the the red table, which, you know, that's their thing, right? So I don't believe that's should be taken into the equation, or for you to attack her. Now, the other thing, now we heard what's her name that says that she said, I wish I had a man to protect me like that.
Oh, was that what is that girl name?
You know what I'm talking about,
yeah.
the comedian?
Yeah.
Who? No, man, I can't believe I forgot her name.
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish.
Was it? I was about to say Tiffany.
Said that she said that, you know, I wish I had a man. So now we go back. So does Will get up out of his seat, walk up on stage, and slap a grown man in the face? Was that justified? Well, I mean, legally, no.
Yeah.
Legally,
Correct.
he committed a crime.
Correct.
Right.
He walked up on stage. He walked up to a dude and slapped him.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you know, so that was, and for, I mean, I'm not going to say that what he did was right. I mean, two things can be true. He can be that Chris Rock was wrong for making that statement, and Will Smith was wrong for walking up on stage and slapping him. And so now we've gotten ourselves into a situation where, look at, he's going, you know, up and down, up and down. But we got ourselves in a situation where it's always got to be, well, if Will was wrong, somebody's got to be worse than someone else. No, I think that we should condemn them both with the same intensity, in my opinion.
Correct.
I don't think that anyone should let Chris Rock off the hook because Will went overboard and slapped him. But at the same time, we shouldn't let Chris Rock. So it's like in America, we can't walk and chew gum at the same time. It's like we got to decide whether Will was right or whether Chris was right. They were both equally wrong. I think that Chris should have not said anything about that man's wife. I don't care if he was a comedian or not.
Correct.
I mean, why would you say something about – you don't need to say nothing about anybody. Because, look, what if it was just simply about her look? Right? So, you know, I mean, what kind of man comes out on stage and makes fun of a woman anyway?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, why I would not go out on – that's distasteful to criticize – what if he say, man, I like that weave you got on, Jada? You know, or – you need to do something about them edges.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, what about that nappy curve you got? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's still distasteful because she's on the elegant nightgown. Her husband's getting ready to be chosen for an award. You don't need to say nothing, man. Why is it necessary for you to do that? And I agree with him, man. Keep his wife's name out of your mouth. Yeah. I don't care what you think about her, and that is wrong. I think that if you go on television, if you go on the stage, if you go anywhere and you got something negative to say about somebody else's wife, I think you're a punk.
Correct.
Just because you can't keep your marriage together don't mean you need to go on stage and say something about somebody else's wife while he's sitting right beside him, because that's uncomfortable and it ain't funny.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's funny. I just don't think that's funny. Now, should Will have got his butt out there and slapped him? No. He should not have done that, but they need to stop doing that. He needs to stop being a gesture and trying to make fun about somebody else's spouse. Because it didn't even matter whether she had something, she was losing her hair. What if she cut off her hair and you're making fun of somebody? Why don't you make fun of somebody wearing fake hair? Right? And she was wearing the elegant nightgown. What about make fun of those people showing all their whole body? She looked better than they did, but anyway, we'll talk about this on the other side of the break.
There's a new nationally syndicated radio program that's sweeping the nation, and you don't want to miss it. Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali, the voice of justice for the people. The focus of Justice Watch is to provide an honest analysis and viable solutions to the criminal and social justice crisis in America and the world from a black, brown, working class, and socially disadvantaged perspective, and to motivate listeners to be informed and part of the solution. Zulu Ali is joined by the Justice Crew, consisting of Rosa Nunez, Michael Clark, Dr. Akil Bashir, and Charito Ali to tackle the most pressing issues. Host Attorney Zulu Ali is a former police officer, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and an award-winning trial lawyer who focuses on representing persons accused of crimes, immigrants, victims of discrimination, and persons seeking civil justice. Find out how to listen to Justice Watch with Attorney Zulu Ali at justicewatchradio.com. Nubian Pictures presents a CCM Films production documentary entitled Purpose and Freedom. Keep your hand on the plow. This emotional and strong documentary tells the story of African-American lawyer Zulu Ali seeking justice and his purpose as a lawyer, while crossing paths with Araceli, an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who is seeking her freedom. Together, they help discover their purpose and freedom in each other. Watch this incredible film today from iTunes Movies, YouTube Movies, Amazon Prime, and Google Play Movies. Learn about the cast and crew, links to purchase, and more at purposeandfreedommovie.com. Purpose and Freedom. Keep your hand on the plow. Available now. Rated G.
I did not feel safe. That's why I decided to come to California, because I didn't feel safe in Mexico.
It's kind of like the system, and if you go outside the system, then it becomes a struggle.
Are you an immigrant seeking defense representation and are looking to protect your rights? Or maybe someone who is experiencing an injustice or discrimination and need a lawyer you can trust? Well, that's exactly why you need the help of award-winning trial lawyer Zulu Ali. The law offices of Zulu Ali provides immigration defense representation for those seeking justice and looking to protect their rights. If you or a loved one needs professional legal advice and representation, then contact Zulu Ali. Zulu Ali's firm focuses on criminal law, family law, civil and personal injury, and international law. Zulu Ali is a former police officer and U.S. Marine, so you know you're in good hands, serving all of California and immigration cases nationwide, representing victims and suspects at the International Criminal Court at The Hague. Call Zulu Ali today at 888-682-3049 or visit ZuluAliLaw.com.
And Chris Rock controversy. So yeah, I mean, I do want to go back to just to be clear, and as I talked about in the first segment, that you know, I just don't think when we are, and I'm coming from a cultural perspective, because that's a lot of what we're getting when we get into the whole idea of controversy, is the way that we are presenting ourselves.
Correct.
That, you know, it's like you've got two African American men who are going at it with each other, you know what I mean, and not, you know, it's not good to have them to have this controversy going back and forth with each other. That's the reason why I said that if this is not Comedy Central, this is not the Laugh Factory, this is not a comedy show. This is supposed to be an Oscar, and you're presenting for a documentary, or you're presenting for whatever. I just don't think that. Look, if it's gonna be the Hoodie Awards, then let's be Hoodie.
Yeah.
Right? I
Correct.
mean, that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
Or if you want to be elegant and you want to be the way that it should be, you had a black man that produced it, then don't go there.
Exactly.
Don't get, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to the Oscars to get roasted.
Correct.
I'm not. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I should be able to not, you should not be able to embarrass me just because you have the ability to get on a mic. I should not have to deal with that.
Right.
And I just don't think, if I pay and I choose to it, I don't think that we would have to do that.
Yeah.
Then of course, okay, so here, my man Joe, our engineer, says referencing a movie where the star is bald isn't much of a put down if she didn't have that disease. He didn't call her H or B, right? So yeah, I mean, I think that's, that could be, you know,
Hmm.
right. But I think that for me, it's like, do you really have to say anything?
Correct. You don't have
That's
to
what he
say
was
nothing at
hired
all.
to do.
Huh?
That's what he's hired to do. Comedians, and I'm playing devil's advocate
Yeah.
here. I'm not going to say whether I'm for or against the slap.
Right.
I'm not going to even go there. However, I think that the unfortunate part is Will reacted for the entire world to see. That was bad. If the form was different, if it wasn't the Oscars, would we be in that much of an uproar? If it were, like you said, the hoodies, or if it were, she didn't have the alopecia, would it be that big of a deal? Probably not. Comedians do what comedians do.
Well,
Their
I don't
job is
know.
to make
No,
people
yeah,
laugh.
yeah. I think it still would be a big deal. Here's the thing. If you go back and see that Chris Rock had made a previous statement at another Academy Award about Jada, about her boycotting the Academy Awards because the blacks was not represented, and then he come back another year and make a joke for the same person, right? I would tell you like this. Okay, the setting might have been wrong, but any man out there, if someone walks up on your wife and makes fun of her hair, make fun of her clothes, you're going to give him that break the first time. But the second time, you're going to act. And if you don't act, then she going to look. You got to lay up with your wife when you go back home. And I know for me personally that if I don't stand up for my wife, I'm going to deal with it when I get back home. And for any woman out there, you ask yourself, would you allow some man to walk up to you in front of your husband or your boyfriend and say something negative about you? And if he does not respond, right, in a protective manner of you, what are you going to do? So the setting might have been wrong. But now you have to flip the script and look at Chris Rock. He was equally or even more wrong for even making a statement. That man was standing up for his wife. Okay, that might have been the wrong setting, of course. But look here, I know that I would have done something because I know that not only would I have to deal with the consequences when I get home, but the fact that I love my wife, I'm going to protect her.
I mean, it's just like if I'm sitting here right now and I'm looking at you or I'm looking at Rosa and I made an offhanded joke about the way you appear, your appearance.
But then I think that's where
you'd feel some sort of way about it. I mean, that's the problem with. I mean, the reality of it is everything always seems a certain way unless it has to do with you.
Correct.
Yeah, I think we just got kind of, and again, I have to play on both sides because I come from a family of comedians. My grandmother used to clown us terribly, and that's why I learned to get thicker skin. For me, I would have clowned right back.
Well, you said out there you can't clown back. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that basically, if I'm going somewhere there's certain places where I'm the type of person that I didn't go to. If I went to the Laugh Factory and somebody made a joke, then it is what it is. If I went to the Laugh Factory and I stood in the front row and you made a joke, then that's one thing.
Exactly.
But if I'm going to the Oscars, if it's going to be a comedy show and I'm going to be roasted and you're going to say something slick, I mean, everybody is not amused by that. And I personally am not amused by people getting up on the stages and making these offhanded jokes because I just don't think that, like there's a time and place for it. Like I said, I love comedy. I do go to comedy clubs. I do go to places where there is comedy. But if I'm going somewhere like that, then I don't expect you to be making fun. And I'm not saying that his reaction is appropriate, but I do believe that what if he had said something about the first lady? And I'm talking about what if he said something about Michelle Obama? What if he said, Michelle, you look like a man? Then they would have acted as different. We wouldn't have thought it was funny. We'd say, man, he's off limit. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But it's because, see, what happens is we devalue certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And because people may not like Jada as much, then they may devalue the way that she feels about it because of the way she does Will.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
go ahead.
I can't hear you real well,
Can't hear
Rosa.
you, Rosa.
He announced that he's flying. Can you hear me?
Not real well. You're going in and out.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better.
Okay. Yeah. What I'm saying is, he basically announced to the world that his wife is unable to defend herself against words. This bugs me because I feel like women need men to defend them is the same justification that is currently being proclaimed by conservatives passing laws on abortion. And I feel like Jada is a strong enough woman to be able to defend herself.
Rosa. Hold on. Rosa, you see what that person said? She says, can I make a joke about Rosa's raggedy phone? That was funny. Because your phone, I can't
hear nothing.
Well, I'm here to defend myself.
Maybe bring it up closer or something.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so what I was trying to say was basically that, Smith slapping Chris Rock was a slap to women as well and devaluing his wife, because by doing that, he announced that, his wife is incapable of defending herself against words. I think his patronizing, paternal attitude really infantilizes women. I think that there's women and need men to defend them. It's basically the same justification currently being used and proclaimed by conservatives in their abortion laws. So I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what's funny is that, and it does go back to people, because what if they've had those? There's a lot of women out there that feel completely differently. So there's some women that feel like, you know what, I don't believe you're protecting me. You're my husband, and you did not. You sit there and let this man say something to me, and you didn't defend me. And sometimes men feel some sort of way, because I know there's some women that feel one way, and that's where we go into how, and I get what you're saying, but the dynamics of all women don't feel the same. Correct. That's why you have to be, I'm very conscious of what I say to people, because maybe they don't feel, because we have all kinds of different, ways that we feel about certain things. You know what I mean? And then another thing about, well, why did she let him do that? They said that you let your man run up on stage and hit somebody and jeopardize everything over a joke. I'm not going to let you go up there. Why did she let him go up there? That was another angle that I've heard, that she should have stopped it, or that she should have been like, if she really he wanted to protect her, but she should have protected him and made sure he didn't run up there and do something like that.
Yeah.
Did you hear what his mom said?
Whose mom?
Will's mom.
No.
She was, let me back up real quick. Rosa, the person that said that about your phone, that was my brother, Justin Leon. But anyway.
Justin's funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Got to get him on here. But she was saying how she's never, ever seen him snap and lose it like that, and she was really concerned. And I think the bigger issue is what made him lose it like that. I think that the issue is not about protecting Jada, who is strong. She can protect herself, but that was a good, him coming to her defense. But I think especially for us as a people, we got to be careful how and where we do that stuff. Some stuff needs to be behind closed doors amongst us, because then it starts to look like something else. And I think that Will may have lost it because he was clowned terribly about how he handled the August Alsina stuff, and how he, they felt like he didn't protect her, which I personally didn't feel like she needed protection from that, because she willingly let that young man touch her and stuff. Yeah. So there was no protection that was needed there. But
Indicated radio program that's sweeping the nation, and you don't want to miss it. Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali, the voice of justice for the people. The focus of Justice Watch is to provide an honest analysis and viable solutions to the criminal and social justice crisis in America and the world from a black, brown, working class, and socially disadvantaged perspective, and to motivate listeners to be informed and part of the solution. Zulu Ali is joined by the Justice Crew, consisting of Rosa Nunez, Michael Clark, Dr. Akil Bashir, and Charito Ali to tackle the most pressing issues. Host Attorney Zulu Ali is a former police officer, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and an award-winning trial lawyer who focuses on representing persons accused of crimes, immigrants, victims of discrimination, and persons seeking civil justice. Find out how to listen to Justice Watch with Attorney Zulu Ali at justicewatchradio.com. Nubian Pictures presents a CCM Films production documentary entitled Purpose and Freedom. Keep Your Hand on the Plow. This emotional and strong documentary tells the story of African-American lawyer Zulu Ali seeking justice and his purpose as a lawyer, while crossing paths with Araceli, an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who is seeking her freedom. Together, they help discover their purpose and freedom in each other. Watch this incredible film today from iTunes Movies, YouTube Movies, Amazon Prime, and Google Play Movies. Learn about the cast and crew, links to purchase, and more at purposeandfreedommovie.com. Purpose and Freedom. Keep your hand on the plow. Available now. Rated G.
I did not feel safe. That's why I decided to come to California, because I didn't feel safe in Mexico.
It's kind of like the system, and if you go outside the system, then it becomes a struggle.
Are you an immigrant seeking defense representation and are looking to protect your rights? Or maybe someone who is experiencing an injustice or discrimination and need a lawyer you can trust? Well, that's exactly why you need the help of award-winning trial lawyer Zulu Ali. The law offices of Zulu Ali provides immigration defense representation for those seeking justice and looking to protect their rights. If you or a loved one needs professional legal advice and representation, then contact Zulu Ali. Zulu Ali's firm focuses on criminal law, family law, civil and personal injury, and international law. Zulu Ali is a former police officer and U.S. Marine, so you know you're in good hands, serving all of California and immigration cases nationwide, representing victims and suspects at the International Criminal Court at The Hague. Call Zulu Ali today at 888-682-3049 or visit ZuluAliLaw.com.
Thank you for tuning in. Or welcome back to Justice Watch. Y'all done threw me off, man. Y'all done threw me off with all these mid comments. But anyway, welcome back to Justice Watch and our discussion on the Will Smith and the Chris Rock controversy. Yeah, I mean, I think that is the whole. If the whole issue is about whether Will Smith should have slapped Chris Rock or not, and that was really the whole issue, then of course not. Like I said, I'm not going to advocate for someone walking up on a stage and just slapping somebody like that, and that's not really what I think that we should walk away from it, is whether he's right or wrong. I think there's also there's a lot of things that come out of this whole issue. I think that, as far as something being wrong with Will and him having a lot of things going on, I mean, I don't know what's going on in that man's life. I don't know what type of mental issues, if it's a mental issue that he's going through. But we lose it sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I think that basically, and we know that, as we know Will Smith, we know that he's not that rah-rah type of dude.
No.
That's not Will Smith anyway. And I do know that as these things are going on, you don't even know. I don't even know what's going on between Will and Chris. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Did they have a conversation? Has this been something that he brought to his attention? The fact that when he was here the last time in 2016 and said something about Jada, was that something that triggered him? And wanted him to decide to, who knows, and who knows what made him get up there and do that. And it's not the worst thing that I've ever seen a human being do. Yeah. I mean, just to be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, we act like, that's the worst. I mean, that you crazy for slapping somebody. I've slapped people and I've got slapped too. Yeah. Right? So, you know what I'm saying? Back in my backsliding days, I got slapped, and I used to slap people too. Yeah. So I'm not going to act like I'm better than nobody else. I mean, people lose their temper and do stuff like that, and yeah, those things happen. So it could have been a moment. It doesn't mean that he's crazy. If he is crazy, then most people in the world are crazy. People lose their temper and do a lot of things. And of course, this is on TV, and he gets up and he does this. So that's again. I don't think it's about having thick skin. I think that we do have to have that conversation about, how we respect and there's people, and I'm going to give another angle in there. There's, I think that Chris Rock is clearly an accomplished comedian. Mm-hmm. He's clearly a person who has been extremely successful in his craft. So I do not want this statement to come across the wrong way. I'm just giving a different perspective. There's a lot of people that don't like Chris Rock because some of the things that Chris Rock says about black people. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, I saw a thing where he was sitting in a room of 3 or 4 other white comedians, and they freely used the N-word around him, and he laughed about it. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Right.
So and he's well liked, and sometimes sometimes our people, the ones that are loved the most, are the ones that shuck and jive and are jesters the most. You see what I'm saying? And so so we why do you need to make fun of our people all the time?
Yeah.
Regardless. I mean, I'm sure there was a whole lot of white people sitting in that audience. And why did you all of a sudden have to pick Will or somebody sitting with, if I'm sitting in the audience and you you say something about my wife, I'm not going to laugh probably. I'm just going to tell you, I'm probably not. I mean, everything is not funny. Mm-hmm. And it's the fact that it's not you sitting in that moment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if we want to have respect for each other, well, we need to have respect for ourselves. Stop making fun of each other like that. I mean, it starts right there. Mm-hmm. It's like when you see certain people, you would never see certain, I just feel like we need to back up a little bit. We feel very comfortable talking about each other because we know that there's no consequences.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you, so do you think that Will Smith would have been as bold as he was to get up and slap Tony Rock, Corey Holcomb, Dave Chappelle? Do you think that the fact that it was Chris Rock, did you think that played a factor in it, little bitty Chris?
No.
Because I can't see him getting up slapping Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle would have went in too.
Yeah.
I don't think Dave Chappelle would have said that joke.
I mean, maybe
I don't think Dave Chappelle would have said something about, because he's not that type of comedian. He don't roast people.
But there's a thing that came out that said that he didn't even write the joke. It was just writers that actually wrote the joke.
I heard something different. I heard that he did not even read from the teleprompter.
Okay, yeah.
Like
that he basically came off the head with that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what he
because he did say, "Oh, that was a good, that was a soft one," or whatever he said. But I don't believe that if, for whatever reason, Dave Chappelle or any of the other ones, especially Tony Rock, his brother, I do not see Will Smith being that bold to go up there and slap any of them.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether he would or wouldn't, and I don't know whether that's the bigger issue.
Yeah,
I think the bigger issue is getting back to the thing about there's a time and place for everything, and I just don't think that was the place for it.
I agree.
I mean, we all can agree that what he did was wrong, because it's really not. I'm not advocating to say that Will Smith doing what he did was right. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I think because everybody's done weighed in on that. I mean, every show's on. Everybody and their mama done said that he's wrong for getting up and doing that. Yeah, I think the bigger question is that I just don't think that was really the time and place for it. Yeah. I just don't think that he should have just said that. Because then we take away the fact that it doesn't have to do with her medical condition.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I still don't think that as a man that I'm going to be up there making fun of a person's hair or body parts. I just don't think that, I don't see how we feel like that is okay. You know what I'm saying? So if you're setting up there and you, let's say you gain some weight and you're sitting there and I say, hey, Andrea, you looking a little bit tight in them clothes. Look like you done put on a few pounds, and everybody laughed.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't care what you say that makes you feel bad because of your appearance.
Yeah.
And so I made a mistake one time in sitting with my mother at the very front of a comedy show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the comedian said something to my mother.
Oh.
And they try to tell us not to sit up there. I mean, my uncle's like, no, let's not sit
don't
up
sit
front.
up
I'm like,
there.
no, let's sit up front. And so, but it's a comedy show. But if I went there to get a humanitarian award or award at a serious situation, and I sit up front with my mother, and you said something about my mother, then I would probably feel a completely different way.
Yeah.
Do you think our culture plays a factor in it? Because, I mean, we're known for playing the dozens and clowning each other on a regular basis. Do you think any of that plays a factor in what happened at all? Because
because
your brother said keep my sister's name out your mouth.
No,
that's right.
That's funny.
The fact that it happened. This is another thing.
Syndicated radio program that's sweeping the nation, and you don't want to miss it. Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali, the voice of justice for the people. The focus of Justice Watch is to provide an honest analysis and viable solutions to the criminal and social justice crisis in America and the world from a black, brown, working class, and socially disadvantaged perspective, and to motivate listeners to be informed and part of the solution. Zulu Ali is joined by the Justice Crew, consisting of Rosa Nunez, Michael Clark, Dr. Akil Bashir, and Charito Ali to tackle the most pressing issues. Host attorney Zulu Ali is a former police officer, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and an award-winning trial lawyer who focuses on representing persons accused of crimes, immigrants, victims of discrimination, and persons seeking civil justice. Find out how to listen to Justice Watch with attorney Zulu Ali at justicewatchradio.com.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
The following program on KCAA is pre-recorded.